Hey fans and others, we recorded this episode before the Oscars came out. However, due to circumstances outside of our control, we're going to have to post afterwards, and so what today's episode is going to look like is a validity check on the predictions we made of Oscar winners. That means every time you hear this sound, we got a prediction right, and we're going to move forward having fun regardless. Thanks for understanding, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
No.
Okay, switch.
Hey, Dax.
Welcome to Sip of Cinema, the only podcast to actually never win Best Cinematography.
Boo.
I'm Alex.
I'm Andres. I wasn't booing you, by the way.
I appreciate
I was booing the... Yeah.
Well, I'm still hurt, but today we're going to be talking about the Oscars.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good. So we're going to be talking a little bit about what we think the Academy is going to pick. We're going to be listing out our official kind of picks for what we think the Academy is going to go for. We're going to be listing out what we think should win, right? Because we're apolitical.
Yeah, exactly.
We have our own opinions. We're not sheep, all right? But there's a little bit of a twist because we're Sip of Cinema, if nothing else.
We do sip.
We sip and we cinema. So what we're going to do to have a little bit of fun is we're going to turn this into a bit of a drinking game, right? To prove that we are not sheep, to prove that we are individually minded. We have to take a sip if our personal picks align with what we think the Academy will pick.
Yep.
And we have to have a drink if our personal picks line up with each other.
So
all right?
does that mean it's possible for us to have to take 2 drinks for like categories?
For all 19 categories that we're covering, yes.
Well, we're not covering all 19 though.
No, we're covering 19 of the 22.
Oh.
Yeah, so
My bad.
So for posterity, we are officially not going to be covering the shorts and the documentaries. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to see all of them.
Yeah.
And we feel a little bit. It would be weird if we
disingenuous.
Threw out our,
you know.
Yeah, and we're not that. We're genuine.
I also want to put out the caveat that the Oscars mean nothing. I'll be the first one to say that.
Yep.
Don't let this dictate whether a movie is good or not, because no one knows what they're talking about ever about anything.
Nope.
So just like what you like.
Yep, absolutely.
Anywho, we are drinking the champagne of beers.
The champagne of beers. Hell yeah, brother. Miller High Life. Why are we sipping on this today?
So for our fans, viewers, listeners, followers
of all sorts
that have seen the holdovers, they will know that this is heavily talked about in the holdovers, which is something that's nominated in multiple categories.
Absolutely.
So I don't think any other film had like a drink that was very consistently in it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. As I talked with Andreas about a little bit earlier, if Saltburn had been nominated, we'd be sipping on Jacob Eldore's bathwater. But
imagine how expensive that would be.
Yeah, exactly. You have to ship that international.
Yeah.
But today we're gonna go ahead and get started. So what's our first category?
So our first category is production design. So we're going to go through the technical ones first, and then at the end, we're going to hit like director, actors, and best picture of all three different categories.
So sit around through the entire thing if you want to get to that juicy little nugget at the end.
Yeah, sure. So first one, production design. I'm just going to read through the nominees real fast. We have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. And Alex and I both agreed that it's very likely that Oppenheimer will take this one just because there's going to be a lot of categories that I think it's going to take it just because it is Oppenheimer, not because it deserves it.
Yep.
But so spoiler segue right there. We don't think it deserves winning this, but it probably will.
Well, yeah, Oppenheimer, let's be honest, is probably going to sweep a lot of this. Not all. I think there's definitely some politics at play that you'll see coming in soon. We'll talk about that when we get there. But definitely, I think starting off the top here, Oppenheimer's probably going to take this.
Yeah. I mean, I will respect the fact that they made an entire town for this.
Yep.
And just, I don't know, anything that's a period piece, I feel like gets extra, like, you know, gravy.
For sure. Just like it does with costuming too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always kind of a good go through. They did blow up a real bomb.
Yeah.
You know, not a nuclear bomb, but
because they wouldn't let them.
Yeah, pussies.
But I do think that Poor Things probably deserves this. That shit was just wacky production design.
100%. Yeah, we this is another little caveat I'll throw out there really quick before we continue. when we're talking about what our personal picks are for a given category, we're talking about that specific category for these films, not necessarily our views about the film as a whole.
Yeah.
We have our own opinions about Poor Things that we can dive into at a later episode, but that's just not what today is. So I just wanted to make that thrown out there. With that being said, I also agree regarding Poor Things. So that'll be our first sip.
Oh, cheers to that.
Cheers to that, brother.
I also want to say I feel like a lot of people think Barbie's gonna take this. I don't think it really has a chance.
No, Barbie's probably going to take other categories, but I don't think production design is where it is. That being said, production design in Barbie was phenomenal.
But also, there's a lot more CGI in Barbie than people realize. So, so yeah, actual like set design and whatnot. I think Poor Things kind of is king there, but it'll probably go to Oppenheimer.
Absolutely.
What's
What's the next category?
Next up is going to be makeup and hairstyling. So for this category, we have Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow.
Yep.
And we both agreed that we think Maestro is going to take this. I kind of wanted to say Oppenheimer would probably take it just because of like the aging and the and especially that sequence where like the face is being like obliterated in that little vision in the gym.
Which, there's something to be said for it being a fairly close race. I think there's several categories where there's a close race between a couple. There's definitely other categories where it's like pretty much a shoe-in.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I do think Maestro kind of has the same thing, when it comes to aging.
I think
and it's a little bit more
better.
prominent.
Yeah.
I think it does a little bit better. And I think given that Maestro has a couple of other nominations, I think this is probably going to be the only one that it actually takes, if it takes any.
I also think the wigs in Maestro, Mariah and I were just talking about this. The wigs in Maestro are great, especially Bradley Cooper's wigs.
That's super fair.
So I think that's what really gives it
That being said, I will throw out there, I did not see Golda. I know that this is a part of it too, but just based on the photos, it's not as high quality. It's not as high quality as Maestro or Oppenheimer for that given purpose. But with that being said, my personal pick actually does align with this. I do think Maestro kind of deserves it. It holds up to the credit, and so for that reason, I'm going to take a sip.
Word. I mean, out of these, yes, I agree. Maestro is my personal pick too.
Right, we have to contain ourselves. It is within the nominations.
Within these nominations, I would have seen some love for Priscilla, for this and for costume design specifically. But yeah, I think out of these, Maestro takes the cake. So I'm also gonna take a sip.
All right, fair enough. And since our picks
wow
align with each other, that's a double decker. That's a double decker. Let's go, brother.
All right.
On to the next.
So kind of in the same vein, costume design. So nominees are Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. And we both agreed that this is going to be Barbie's to take. Yep. I just think the whole inspiration behind like actual dolls through the years is going to have some heavy weight there. Also, I mean, the costumes generally look
They do. Every individual Barbie has their own look, and it's curated to not only be for that given profession or whatever, but for the individual. It looks great as a cohesive that pulls together all very nicely while still being very particular and neat for the individual. I think that Barbie probably will take this, and unfortunately, I do have to say I kind of agree. I think that Barbie aligns with my personal pick for here as well.
Yeah, I think so too. So I guess we got to take 2 sips on this one.
That's
too.
a double decker.
Shucks. Bro.
Here we go, bro. Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Are we gonna cheers again for the second one? Or did you do 2 and 1 right there?
Yeah, it was double decker. So yeah.
Oh,
you gotta do. Yeah, these high lives aren't gonna last long. We got some little for
bro. It's either these tiny ones in a 6-pack or a 30-pack. What do you mean, bro?
Yeah,
Who's in charge of making that decision?
Miller's really got us by the balls here, but here we go. Let's keep going.
Okay, so the next one that we're looking at here is going to be original song. There's some controversy in this category.
Can you list a little bit of the controversy for me, because I was unaware?
First of all, the fact that the song from Flamin' Hot's in there, the fact that Flamin' Hot got nominated for anything,
that's controversial. So here's the thing. I didn't hate Flamin' Hot by any means, but for it to be in the same category as any of these other films is kind of crazy.
And a lot of people are hating on I'm Just Ken being nominated because they're a common view is that it's not nominated for the song itself, it's nominated for the scene, the performance, and like the whole like musical number of it with all that, which I can see the argument on. So
Yeah, but it's hard to find a year where you would see a movie song nominated that gets as much playtime as really either of the songs from Barbie.
yeah. And like like regardless of the controversy on those two songs, neither of them are gonna win.
Let me help you out.
Yeah, thanks. It was sliding on me.
Yeah. Did you actually list the songs?
Yeah. So we have The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. We have I'm Just Ken from Barbie. It Never Went Away from American Symphony. Wazahaze? I don't want to butcher that.
Yeah, it's the Osage tribal song
From Killers,
from
the
Killers
Flower
of the Flower Moon.
And then What Was I Made For from Barbie. So we both agreed that What Was I Made For is gonna really, it's not gonna be close.
Yeah, it's got over 700 million streams on Spotify
yeah.
alone, and has become, honestly, it's created a life of its own on TikTok as well. Not that any of that really factors in that much for the Oscars, but I think it's pretty easy to tell what the public's opinion of the best song is.
Yeah.
Based off that alone.
So I think it's so
Yeah,
it's our pick to win it, and also our pick to that it deserves to win
yeah,
it.
I think so too.
So that's
that's another double decker.
decker.
Yo, we're not trying to be Academy boys here,
We're
but
God, this is kind of embarrassing.
don't worry. I feel like we're gonna get more controversial as we go on.
Absolutely. So sticking to music, we have original score now. I feel like this one is very obvious of what's actually going to win.
Yeah.
But so we have American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Some people were really upset about that being nominated.
Fair. It's just another
It's
Indiana
just
Jones
Indiana
score.
Jones again. It's just John Williams.
Not that I don't love John Williams, but it's the fifth one. It is like, we're okay on it.
Killers of the Flower Moon is also nominated. Oppenheimer and Poor Things. I think it's very obviously going to be Poor Things. Or not Poor Things, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
God.
That's crazy.
But that's, I don't know. I just feel like that is the score that's really stuck around.
Yeah.
Past like the movie's run in the theater, you know?
Yeah. This is 100% another one of those Oppenheimer sweeps.
Yeah.
I think it's really not close, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. Sorry, Marty. I can't vote for Killers here, but
yeah, and sorry, Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny boy.
But
what's your personal pick though?
My personal pick's also Oppenheimer.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, and again, I want to be clear, this is within the category. My personal pick would probably also be Poor Things. Just because when you go back and you listen to it without the movie, if you just listen to the score on its own, you can absolutely visualize everything that's going on. I feel like the composer does a lot of heavy lifting storytelling through the music in a way that I think is really impressive and creative and original. So personally, I would probably go with Poor Things. Not that I think it's actually listenable on its own,
but
know?
like in the
context of it being a score for a movie, I think it accomplishes the job incredibly well.
Okay, word. I definitely respect that.
All right, no sips on that one.
I sip.
We're not. Oh yeah.
Well, you sip too.
No.
You sip one because we agreed that Oppenheimer is gonna win.
That's the Academy one. We pre-agreed to those.
What are the rules again?
Oh my god.
Sip if
it's only when our personal pick matches either the other person's personal pick or when it matches the Academy pick.
Oh.
So me picking Poor Things does not align up with you or what we think the Academy is going to pick.
Anyways, I took my sip.
There we go. We're on to the next.
God, we are really zooming through this, bro.
To be fair, we didn't want this episode to be freaking 2 hours. So,
well, I mean, we're only like 10 minutes in, though.
That's fair.
And
that's
we're
fair.
like through a third of the categories.
We're gonna have a little bit of dialogue at the end, though. Don't you worry about that. A little bit of a diatribe.
Every episode. It's actually pretty impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so next is visual effects. So I have a very strong opinion on this one.
Okay.
So the nominees are The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Impossible, and Napoleon. Y'all are crazy if you think I'm saying anything besides Godzilla.
Yeah, fair enough. And we also think Godzilla's got to take the Academy pick.
Yeah.
I will say, Godzilla is probably in a really tight running with The Creator here. you know, you can have your personal opinions about the creator overall as a movie. However, that's my personal pick for visual effects. I know you haven't seen it, but by God, are those VFX really incredibly well done, and they're everywhere. And, you know, also credit, quite frankly, to the DP on that too, because the lighting matches. It's really impressive. It's like a War of the Worlds style of or level of VFX, but beyond a lot of the movies that came out this year. And the only reason I picked that over Godzilla minus one is because it's even more prevalent throughout the entire movie. And don't hurt me. You look like you're gonna hurt me.
I just feel so betrayed.
I'm not trying
I
to
feel
hurt you.
so betrayed.
I'm not trying to hurt you here.
I mean, essentially, the creator is like, for lack of a better like explanation, it's like the guerrilla filmmaker dream.
Mhm.
They shot it on I forget what DSLR they shot it on, but they shot it on some crazy camera that not anyone, but like just an easy handheld camera. I think it was a Sony, but I'm not sure. I might be lying.
Yeah.
And they just did it, tiny crew, just run and gun on locations. And it turned out like this.
Mhm.
And once again, say what you will about the actual film itself, but it's an extremely impressive achievement. However,
It's not Godzilla.
he's not Godzilla.
That's fair.
I think Godzilla minus one is like wholeheartedly deserving of this.
Well, and let me
But-
say, I think personally, and I feel like you agree with me here, Godzilla minus one should have been nominated for a couple other categories as well. And that would have been my personal pick for a couple of other categories.
Mhm.
So I'm not trying to discount Godzilla. It's just
What other categories do you think it should have been nominated for?
best sound.
I think sound, yeah, absolutely.
100%.
But I don't really think it should have been for anything else. Because even for score, it's like our gripe with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
A lot of it was the same score. But
yeah, that's fair. No, but I mean, it definitely should have been nominated for sound, I think, and I probably would have been my pick for sound. And well,
oh, not
but
my
we'll
pick
get
for
that.
sound.
That's fair.
That's a category I have a very strong opinion on.
Okay, fair enough.
But-
Well, let's keep it rolling though.
All
Let's
right.
keep it rolling.
So sound is actually the next one on the
That's
list. That's crazy.
crazy.
So we have in that category the creator, Maestro.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
What am I holding on to?
What was your personal pick?
Godzilla? Oh, we
And
didn't drink.
You didn't drink. Yeah, I'm gonna hold you accountable, brother,
Mhm,
because so far you're
mhm,
drinking more than me, so I think that's gonna have to be my role.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Anyway,
They're just so small.
just so
They're
small.
so small.
We'll get refills, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, you're just gonna see one magically appear. And it's just gonna be full.
Yeah.
Okay, so sound. The creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, Zone of Interest.
Mhm.
We both agreed that this is one that Oppenheimer's probably gonna get.
Yeah.
That is not what I think deserves it though.
What do you think deserves it?
The sound or the Zone of Interest.
I am of the same opinion.
Thank God.
Because let's be honest, this sound. Well, okay, yeah, let's drink. Let's drink to that first.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
The Zone of Interest would be nothing of a film without that sound.
God,
That
it's
sound
like-
made the movie, and it haunts me. The sound in that movie haunts me.
You want to know something crazy about that movie?
I really do.
This has nothing to do with the sound. The actors did not know where the cameras were in a lot of scenes.
Really.
They were just planted.
Oh, that's so cool.
That is
That's so
sick.
cool. That's so sick.
But just to really create that fly on the wall like kind of feeling.
Yeah.
But I just like there's just no other film really stuck with me. Like, oh my, like walking out of the theater, I was actively thinking about the sound design.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. I mean, that is what made the movie.
Yeah.
You know, so I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that's not to say that the sound in Oppenheimer is not incredibly impressive.
No, yeah, it's
that
sick, but
that also for the most part makes that movie, but it is not as unnerving and creative and unique as the experience you get from Zone of Interest. I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
agreed.
Same here. All right, boom, on to the next. One magical refill later.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so next category. I don't know why we both just.
Just a show.
Next category is film editing. So that is going to be Anatomy of a Fall,
Mhm.
The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. We agreed that Oppenheimer's probably going to win it.
Mhm.
Now, Alex, is that your personal pick?
This is a tough category, mainly because I'll be honest, it has been a while since I've seen these movies, and to recall the editing specifically is a little tough. However, I think I might actually go with Anatomy of a Fall here.
Me too.
Really?
Bro, if not only because of that one sequence that's like the most seen thing on Twitter and TikTok or whatever, where it's like the court and it's like reenacting the scene of their fight
Yeah.
and then it cuts to the court. If not only for that.
Yep.
But
No, there are some really phenomenal editing choices that are just absolutely pivotal to the storytelling. And given how Anatomy of a Fall is kind of a I don't even know if you can really call it a slow burner, but it's a pretty long movie with longer kind of drawn out parts. There are those
a lot going on though.
There is a lot going on within a fairly really a story that most TV shows could lock in like 42 minutes, you know. But the editing style keeps it really fresh and spicy and like draws you in for like these moments of action that when it's really just a legal drama.
Yeah. And I feel like something that we also have to highlight is when a lot of people think best editing, they think most editing, and that's just not the case.
No. It's the best decisions behind when to edit in a specific way.
Exactly. So yes, Oppenheimer is more editing, but I think Anatomy of a Fall is very effective editing. That packs a lot of punches.
Yeah, because I that's a good point. I hadn't really thought about that, but it's just as important to know like when not to cut away.
Bro, yeah, because you see so many things where they just even in just like a conversation between two people, you don't have to cut every time someone changes, who's talking.
Yeah.
So it's just every cut has to have a purpose.
Yep.
So I don't know.
That's crazy.
I'm so glad we agree on that. Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, there we go. Cheers to that, brother.
Cheers to that.
How many times can I say that in this episode? Let's find
out. I know it's gonna be a record.
It's gonna be a lot.
Okay, so next is cinematography. So the nominees here are El Cunde, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. We both agreed that Oppenheimer's probably going to win. Is that your personal pick, though?
No, it's not my personal
mine
pick.
either.
Yeah, I mean, again, I really want to clarify. I'm not purposely picking against the grain choices to try and be unique here.
No, yeah.
It's just that I did not find Oppenheimer to be as perfect a movie as I think the Oscars are going to reflect it to be. I think it's pretty crazy if you don't pick Poor Things.
I'm picking Killers of the Flower Moon.
Really?
Dude, there are some powerful shots.
Yeah.
The last shot, as well as the opening shots.
Yeah.
The shot where like the field's on fire, like I don't know. I just feel like Killers of the Flower Moon is the one that really stuck with me with the most specific camera shots.
Interesting. No, I mean, and that's completely fair. That's completely fair. Maybe I'm getting wrapped up in sort of the general creative decision making that was displayed in Poor Things and kind of wrapping that up into the whole kind of, salad mixer. Because cinematography in its own, you have more experience with this particular term than I do, but as far as I understand it, there are a lot of pieces that make up cinematography as a whole. And I mean, again, personal kind of opinions about Poor Things aside, it impressed me the most. So there we go.
We agree to disagree.
Hey, yeah, we're not cheap. Let's go.
Fine. Exactly.
All
we're
right,
not cheap.
We win.
I keep thinking you're saying we're not cheap.
We are cheap.
We are very cheap. We are so poor.
Yeah, dude, do you see this?
There's no background.
This is crazy.
So next is the two writing categories. So first we'll do adapted screenplay.
Yep.
So the nominees here are going to be American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. So we both agree we think Barbie is going to win because of the whole hype behind like, the feminist like energy of the film and everything like that. But Alex, is it your personal pick?
Yeah, I like how you're suddenly queuing up every question like this. Category. Here's the thing. Probably not. That being said, it's tough to know, I think, with adapted screenplays. to have the fuller picture, I would like to have more information on what it's based off of. That doesn't necessarily have to play into it. It does typically with me though, especially whenever you see something like, you know, a Lord of the Rings or something like that. It's based off of a previous work. You're going to judge everything really hard based on how familiar you are with the previous work. But no, it's got to be Zone of Interest.
That's my pick too.
Yeah.
For me, it can't be Oppenheimer because the writing was my biggest problem with the movie.
Yeah,
no one talks
fair.
like that.
No,
no one talks like that.
Nobody talks like that. That's super fair. Yeah, what was that whole like transatlantic sort of like no.
No, dude, absolutely not.
Like,
but
I also can't assume that Oppenheimer was actually that sociable. Like he had to have been.
No, dude, he was a little freak. No,
yeah.
he wasn't talking to people.
No.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
But the Zone of Interest, a lot of people complain about the Zone of Interest because they think what is being shown to us is boring. And they're like,
no.
Well, first of all, you missed the whole fucking point of the movie.
You did.
But I don't know. I just think the monotony of what is captured is captured so well.
Is the point. That paired with sound.
Exactly.
Yo, I'm gonna bring this word back too. That's the dichotomy. That's the point. No, yeah, I so agree with you. I feel we're definitely gonna be talking about Zone of Interest more than again before the end of this episode, so we can move on. But we do have to cheers.
Cheers to that. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now we're doing original screenplay. These nominees are going to be Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, Past Lives. We said Anatomy of a Fall is probably going to take it, and I will say it with my chest, it 100% deserves it.
Yep, 100%.
Like I really don't think it's close.
This is another one of those double-decker situations. Anatomy of a Fall is so good.
Yeah.
Not to say I don't love The Holdovers and Paul Giamatti. Not to say that Maestro doesn't have some good moments, you know. And May December and Past Lives also, they are very interesting, but Anatomy of a Fall kind of blows them all out of the water. Let's be honest.
Real quick sidestep. I already forgot. Was Holdovers nominated for cinematography?
No.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I'll talk about that later.
Yeah. All right, but we got a double decker.
We got a double decker.
Cheers,
yep.
bro.
Oh, double. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, apologize if we burp into the microphone.
I'm trying so hard not to, bro.
I feel like it's okay.
I'm gonna be editing this, cutting out every burp.
Yeah.
All right, so next we have directing. So that's gonna be Anatomy of a Fall for Justine Triet.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese. Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan. Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos, and The Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer.
Yeah.
We think it's gonna go to Christopher Nolan. I don't think specifically it's going to go to him because of Oppenheimer, but it's kind of like a lifetime achievement.
Yeah.
That's how the Oscars really work. You don't get nominated for the actual movie. You get nominated for your
there's
whole
definitely
career.
a lot more politics at play there than I think anybody actually lets on.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Andreas, I think you know more about that than I do or ever will. I mean, I think it was 6 episodes ago when I thought that the Oscars and the Academy Awards were different, right? So it's okay. It's okay. We all know my role in this. But that being said, let's be honest. This is a very stacked list. I feel like this is tough. This is tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put you in the hot seat this time. What is your personal pick?
My personal pick?
Yeah.
Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall.
Really?
I almost said Jonathan Glazer. But I think Justine Triet is I feel like she impressed me the most.
Yeah, fair enough. This is very tough. But keep in mind, I'm coming from more of a neophyte sort of background. It's hard for me to know how to really calculate best director. But I do kind of want to go with Killers of the Flower Moon, though, with Martin Scorsese.
My heart tells me Marty, but
yeah, no, and that's super fair. I just think that there were a lot of things that I learned about the making of this movie that impressed me. One, just how involved he tried to get with the Osage people to really kind of like faithfully adapt it. Two, the addition or the extra time that he gave to what's her name?
Lily Gladstone?
Lily Gladstone.
Oh, adding a bunch of scenes for her?
Yeah, because she was only supposed to be there for like 1 or 2 scenes ahead of time.
I think it was like 3 scenes total.
Yeah, and then he gave her a lot more screen time, and then that he was impressed with her or whatever. there were a lot of decisions that I think he made throughout the process that maybe I would not recognize just being a movie watcher generally on the screen, but that I think made the movie ultimately what it wound up being.
Mhm.
That really impressed me, so I have to go with it. And
Mhm.
that was a really long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
No, that's what they come here for.
Yeah, fair enough.
Either way, it doesn't matter because it's gonna go to Christopher Nolan.
It's definitely going to go to Christopher Nolan.
But I just want to use this as a segue to say how insane it is that Martin Scorsese has only won one Oscar for Best Director.
Kidding me, dude?
Bro, and the way they gave it to him was funny because they put all of his buddies on. It was George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and I forget who was the third person who gave the award to him, but it was like very obvious that he was going to get it. All right, so now let's get rolling in the acting categories.
Mhm.
We're going to go ahead and start with actress in a supporting role. So the nominees are going to be Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, or I guess I should say what movies they're in.
Yep.
Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Niad, and Davine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers.
Mm-hmm.
And we said Davine Joy Randolph is probably gonna win it.
We assume that's how you
assume-
pronounce her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry if we're saying it
Yeah,
wrong.
I'm so sorry. It could be divine, but I thought that sounded ridiculous, so we went with
It's
Devine.
just, yeah, because that'd be
Apologies if
so
I'm super
insane. I feel
wrong.
like we would know if her name was Divine because that's sick as
I
hell.
feel like it would have come up.
Yeah. But so we think she's gonna win it. She's won a good amount of the awards so far for other award shows. But do you agree that that's probably the right pick?
I'm kind of caught between two movies, and I'll be honest, neither one of them is her. Not to say that she didn't give a great performance, but for instance, Jodie Foster and Nyad, she could have just as easily been the star role for the amount of screen time that she got. And maybe I'm Jodie pilled, but I loved her performance. I also love Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple, but I do kind of think Jodie Foster deserves it personally. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'll catch some flack for this, but yeah, she really went all for it. But that's just my opinion. So, what do you think?
So my actual pick is not even nominated.
Well, but we can't do that.
What?
Yeah,
All right.
we'll get to that later if we need to. But
I mean, yeah, of the ones that are nominated, I 100% think her.
okay,
I think Emily Blunt got nominated for one scene because
Yeah.
throughout the rest of the movie, she really didn't have anything to work with.
yeah,
Another problem I have with this script in Oppenheimer.
yeah,
but
fair enough. Yeah, Oppenheimer probably shouldn't have been in this category if I'm being honest.
it's because of that one scene, the
Yeah.
interrogation scene. But I definitely think out of the nominees, granted, I didn't see Jodie Foster in it yet. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
But I think out of these, from what I've seen, Davine Joy Randolph for sure is my pick. I feel like she really pulled the most emotional heartstrings. I feel like she was the most memorable performance for me.
Yeah,
Can
fair
I
enough.
Say, can I say who I want to say though?
Yeah, go for it.
I really hope I'm not saying her name wrong. But Cara Jade Myers from Killers of the Flower Moon. She was the sister
Yeah,
who was killed.
yeah,
I think with the little screen time she had, she killed it.
yeah. She put. Yeah, no, I think that's super valid. I think that's super valid. Yeah, there are definitely a couple people that I think probably could have been in this. I don't have their specific real life names in my head right now, so I'm not going to dive into that. But I might put it in the captions of this.
Fair enough. It'll be lengthy captions.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's go ahead and do actor in a supporting role.
Mm-hmm.
This is another category I feel very strongly about. But so the nominees are Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction,
Mhm.
Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things.
Okay,
We said it's there's no way it doesn't go to Robert Downey Jr.
let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, RDJ for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, but is that your pick, Alex?
I'm actually gonna throw this to Ryan Gosling for Barbie.
I actually think Ryan Gosling shouldn't have been nominated.
Really?
I think he should not have been nominated.
Really?
At all. No.
Okay.
I think he got nominated for the PR he did for the role, not for the role itself.
Are you kidding me? Because
No.
I do not think that movie would not have had the staying power it did without him.
But I just don't think he pulled. like, yeah, he owned the role,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And like
But I don't think the role is nomination worthy.
no, that's super fair. I mean, a lot of his impact on the movie has to do with the actual writing, right? And
Mhm.
then them picking him for like the songs that he did. But like, so clearly you don't think Ryan Gosling deserves this. So give me a little bit of justification on why for your personal pick.
For my personal pick,
Yeah, yeah.
out of these 5, or who I actually think should get it.
For oh my god, within the nominations, brother, we don't have all day.
So within the nominations, I think honestly, I don't have one specific pick. It's between 2 for me, and that's Robert De Niro and Mark Ruffalo.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's fair.
I'll say Mark Ruffalo for the
Okay.
sake of conversation. I just think
Fair
this
enough.
is like the best performance I've seen him in since Spotlight,
Yeah.
which he was also nominated for, and I really wanted him to win that year. But I just think he gave a lot to the role.
He did. He did. I mean, and yeah. No, you're completely right. And I don't disagree with that pick because I think that this was a performance from Mark Ruffalo that like I am not overly familiar with a lot of his work. So personally going into it, I didn't really have any expectations, and he did kind of put his whole Ruffussy into it.
He did.
Yeah.
I guess we should actually talk about Robert Downey Jr. a little bit.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
feel like he got nominated for the role that was written, not for what he did with the role.
Yeah, 100%. And maybe this is a little bit of bias on my part, but I thought the entire last hour of Oppenheimer that focuses on RDJ was completely omittable from the film as a whole.
I disagree, but
It wasn't my favorite part. And so I don't know, differing creative opinions, I guess, but
yeah.
it's also not even one of the better RDJ kind of performances I feel like I've ever seen. So
Wow.
yeah, what are you gonna do? Anyways, on to the next.
On to the next. Wait, can I say the ones I think?
Yeah. Go ahead, rattle it off.
So I have 3 people
Okay.
who I think should have been nominated that weren't.
Brother,
And they're my
go.
3 favorites.
Throw it off.
First one, Dominic Sessa from The Holdovers.
Yeah.
Second one, Milo Machado Gardner. I think it's Milo. It might be Milo. I don't know.
Okay.
The son from Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Dude, he's my pick. He's my pick.
Absolutely.
Third one.
Also, the freaking French lawyer from Anatomy of a
So
Fall.
my other pick is also from Anatomy of the Fall. It's not the lawyer. It's the dog.
It's the dog.
Bro,
That's super
are you
fair.
kidding me?
That's super fair.
Um,
Yeah, the dog was really killing it.
But if I had to actually pick one, I would say Milo or Milo. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
But, I think he killed it.
Yeah,
It's not
100%.
if the Academy did not hate children.
Yeah.
He would have gotten
Yeah,
it.
that's super fair.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that.
Anyways, on to the next.
Here we go.
Actress in a leading role. We have Annette Bening from Niad, Lily Gladstone from Killers.
I think it's Naiad.
Naiad.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I'm so sorry.
That's
y'all.
okay. That's okay. Continue.
Lily Gladstone from Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller from Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan, Maestro, Emma Stone, Poor Things.
Mhm.
We said it's gonna go to Lily Gladstone.
Yeah.
I think it should go to Lily Gladstone.
I also think it should. I think this is one of those situations where this is not a political pick. I think Lily Gladstone legitimately pulled it off, and much like for the same reason why I chose Martin Scorsese for Killers of a Flower Moon, like he wouldn't have made that decision if Lily hadn't absolutely freaking shocked everybody on screen. Like she put her all into that role, and I am so grateful for it.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying, well, what if Emma Stone gets it? I don't think Emma Stone like statistically is the second pick in the running. She's not my second pick though.
Yeah.
I think Sandra Huller.
Yeah.
But
is that a triple decker?
I
think
guess so.
I guess it's gotta be triple decker. Let's go. 1 and 2, 3. All right, there we go. We're going for it.
But I think not Emma Stone, Lily Gladstone just did so much with what was given to her.
Yeah.
The raw emotion she put into the role.
Yeah.
Just seems like where she's on the stairs and like the house had just blown up, or like when she finds out her sister died. Spoilers, sorry. Watch the movie.
Yeah. I don't know what you thought you were getting into.
But
These are all movies from this year.
Even like scenes where she's just like feeling ill or like not even saying lines.
Yeah.
Like it's just her raw physical acting.
Mm-hmm.
Insane.
Oh yeah, facial control is absolutely insane. Like you can read her mind with her facial the way that she uses she portrays her emotions on her face, her thoughts on her face in a way that I felt was both realistic in that nobody else in that time period in her life would have understood it, but we as an audience can read her mind through. It's just, I felt that, you know?
That
Does
was
that
so
make sense?
beautifully spoken.
It really wasn't, but I
Well,
appreciate it.
anyways, we can just probably go to the next category. Actor in a leading role.
Mm-hmm.
We have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction.
Yeah.
We said it's probably going to go to Cillian Murphy.
I think it would be crazy if it didn't. I mean, not that this is my personal pick, because it's not, but let's be real here. I'm very certain that that's going to be the ultimate pick. That being said, what is your personal pick? And again, to reiterate, it has to be from these nominations. Brother,
All right.
Working with a child.
I will say I would probably give it to Cillian Murphy out of these 5.
Really?
I would not give it to Bradley Cooper.
I also would not.
He was just a silly little whimsical soul.
Yeah.
But I would not give it to him. As much as the internet wants to make fun of him for it. I love Paul Giamatti. Would not give it to him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But
here's the thing. You didn't get to see Rustin, did you? This is very tough for me because I do think that I'm absolutely Cillian pilled. I think that he deserves it, but I also think Coleman Domingo deserves it. I saw also recently because he was in The Color Purple, and I was not very familiar with a lot of Coleman Domingo's work prior. However, seeing the range that he's able to offer between Rustin and his performance as an absolute horrible human being in The Color Purple, just, he impressed me so incredibly much. I think that I do agree with you. I think this is a double-decker situation. I think we need to give it to Cillian Murphy, and that probably is my personal pick, but just know that my heart is torn because Coleman Domingo served his ass off in Rustin and is the only reason that movie is really even worth watching in the first place.
Word, I respect it.
Yeah, so
I wish I could put in some words on that.
Yeah. I had to throw that out there. So it is a double-decker situation, but listen to me, Coleman Domingo. I believe in you. You have my heart. Here we go.
That was beautiful.
Double-decker. Whew, we're about to have to move on to a third, aren't we?
Bro, yeah. We're gonna have a
We
third
are.
bottle up here in our hand.
That's crazy.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the actual best of categories.
Right.
So that's going to be best animated, international, and just best picture.
Yep.
So best animated, we have The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, is it Nimona or Nimona?
Nimona. Yeah.
Nimona. Robot Dreams and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Right.
We said it's probably going to go to Spider-Verse.
Yep. We did say it's probably going to go to Spider-Verse. Do you want to preface this? If you haven't heard of Robot Dreams, or you have only heard it because of the nominations, neither one of us have seen it because it releases...
It's not out yet.
It's just not out yet. It's just actually not... We're not able to watch this.
Yeah.
So don't judge us for not putting an opinion out there for Robot Dreams. I'm sure it's great. That being said, 100% Spider-Verse.
Oh no, a lot of people are saying Boy and the Heron.
And I get that, but 100% Spider-Verse.
Oh no, it doesn't have a third act.
What?
Spider-Verse does not have a third act.
Neither does Dune.
So what? We're not getting to Dune. We're not getting into Dune.
And neither does Dune.
Two different stories.
That's the whole point. Would you have a part one and a part two? What are you talking about?
Anyways.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, Spider-Verse is a grand feat. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll say Spider-Verse as well. But I just want it to be controversial. All right. Alex?
Yeah. All right. You're forcing it. You're forcing the issue. No, Spider-Verse absolutely deserves it. Here's the thing. People seem to really love Nimona. For me, it wasn't personally, it didn't pull on me that much. Elemental, I watched yesterday. It's cute. It's a Pixar movie. I like some things about it, but there's nothing about it that blew me out of the water. Boy and the Heron, I did love. It's a cozy watch, but it didn't actually blow me away that much from a Studio Ghibli perspective. I know you seem to care about this a lot, this movie.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Boy and the Heron? Oh, I didn't mean to out you like that.
I was out of town when it was running in the theater.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I know it's David Elrich's #1 pick for the entire year.
Which I think is super fair. There's a lot to love about that movie. I don't think, which is crazy because I am a pretty big anime guy and I love a lot of Studio Ghibli stuff. This one in particular, I don't know if I was just really not the audience. Maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace going into it. Didn't know what to expect. I didn't really care about it that much. And maybe that is it's hard for me to say, I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's one that a lot of people are upset that didn't get nominated for best score.
That's super fair.
Yeah.
I think that's super fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant to mention that earlier. But all right, word. Well, I guess double decker on this too.
Yep, here we go.
At least what's left.
Yeah, we're gonna finish these bad boys and come right back. Boom. Now that we're back with magical new beers.
Where did these come from?
Yeah, if we were big enough to get commercials, we would have just cut back from a commercial break, ladies and gentlemen.
But one day.
One day, we pray.
So next category is going to be international feature film.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Io Capitano. Io Capitano.
Yeah, you're Spanish. You should understand.
I let my whole country down.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
Insane. So that's Italy. Perfect Days, Japan. We have Society of the Snow. Society of the Snow.
Oh my God.
Spain.
Sorry, audio listeners.
Sorry, guys. The Teacher's Lounge, Germany. The Zone of Interest, United Kingdom, which is just insane to me.
So wild. Yeah, like literally 5 countries collaborated on that movie. I don't know.
But
whatever.
Anyways, that's the one that's gonna win.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because it's the only one nominated for Best Picture.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Also, fully deserves it.
Yeah, 100%. No, Zone of Interest. This is good. Easily another double decker situation.
Yeah.
We both agree with the Academy. We agree with each other. It is.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's just so good. I mean, you will not find a more haunting film, I think, in almost all of your life. Certainly not in 2023.
Well, like Come and See. Have you seen Come and See?
I haven't seen Come and See.
You will see.
Yeah. Wait. Come and See. Yeah, that's Russian.
Russian anti-war film.
Yeah. No, I did see that. Sorry, I missed the name, but God, I could not forget that movie. So.
The barn scene, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
You know they actually shot a cow for that movie?
Yeah, you told me that.
That's a whole different conversation.
You don't do that today.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that today. That being said, I do want to give a little shout out to both Society of Snow and Perfect Days. Io Capitano is a brutal watch, but not overall the most amazing movie. We did not get to see Teacher's Lounge, either one of us, unfortunately.
I don't think it got a release here, did it? Or did it?
It did. It was tough to be able to find the time in the theater that was showing it, unfortunately. Society of the Snow on Netflix, wonderful movie.
I feel like that was the most popular by far of all the nominations.
Yeah, 100%. It was definitely seen by the most people. It's the only one that went straight to streaming.
Yeah.
So it was the most accessible, 100%. And Perfect Days I actually just saw yesterday in preparation for this.
With it.
I'm so obsessed with Perfect Days. It is sitting with me more and more in a positive way, whereas Zone of Interest sits with me more and more every day in a
what a cruel world.
In just a horrifying perspective. With that being said, easily a double decker situation. Let's go ahead.
100%.
Let's go ahead and cheers to that, bro.
Yep.
Yep. Also, I just want to throw this out there. If I had seen Perfect Days ahead of our scores for soundtrack episode, it absolutely would have been featured in there. Phenomenal soundtrack. I know it's only like 9 songs or whatever. I don't care. All right. We can move on now. We can move on. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. All right. So next, that leads us to the very last category.
Oh my Lord. We did it. We're here. What was your favorite film of 2023, ladies and gentlemen? I would love to see that in the comments, but
Jesus Christ. Anyways,
desperate for engagement.
Please, guys.
Please.
So Best Picture.
We've got a lot.
We got 10
names
nominees.
Here.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
So it is going to be nominee number 1, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. It's going to go to Oppenheimer.
It's so easily going to go to Oppenheimer. Overall, from the Academy's perspective, I don't feel like that's a controversial pick at all. I don't. Well, more so, I should say, I don't think anybody doesn't see that coming.
Yeah. I think it's the most easily broadcasted thing
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it deserve it, Alex?
See, here's the thing. On one hand, I understand that we've pretty much unanimously agreed that Oppenheimer will both sweep a ton of these awards, and that I don't know if either one of us have picked it for almost anything outside of Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
So we're not intentionally trying to be film bros going against the grain, but obviously Zone of Interest.
Zone of Interest, bro.
It's so good.
Exactly.
It's so good. We just went off about it. Like, we're not. It deserves its own. It's oh my god, yes. Zone of Interest, incredible. That's your pick for sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then a very close second is Anatomy of a Fall.
Yep, 100%.
Um,
I just want to throw out there American Fiction being on here for best movie. I don't get.
I think I don't know.
I thought that there were a lot of flaws with that movie. I get it from certain perspectives, but it did not really impress me that much. That being said, I'm not here to hate on a bunch of movies, so I'm
Yeah,
not
that's not
gonna
the
I'm not
point.
gonna sit here and do
Yeah.
that. But I will gas forever about Zone of Interest. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and double decker that,
Double
buddy.
deck. Yep. Actually, that wasn't a double decker because we didn't agree with the Academy.
Well, we're drinking twice because of how much we love Zone of
love the
Interest.
Zone of Interest. Now, okay, you said that you don't think American Fiction should be nominated. What would you have liked to see to have seen in its place?
Well, okay, so this might be a little bit of spoilers for nothing other than like 10 minutes from now in this very same episode, but All of Us Strangers.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
I would have liked to see All of Us Strangers thrown in there. I thought All of Us Strangers was very, very good. I very much really liked that movie. It was very trippy. Normally at the end of our episode, I guess we're just doing it now. We'll just do it now. Why not?
Fair enough. Well, I mean, it's practically the end of the
Yeah,
episode.
it's practically the end. We give our recommendation for what we think from all the movies that we talked about. We should recommend today, since we think that the Oscar nomination is big enough publicity for a movie on its own. We're going to throw out a movie that we think should have been included into the mix, and our recommendation for a movie that wasn't nominated for anything, I think we've both just stated, is All of Us Strangers.
100%.
Yep.
I don't know what's up with that, but the Academy is allergic to films where Paul Mescal has a huge role. Because my favorite movie of 2022 was After Sun, and it got no recognition.
Yep.
And I thought it was the most emotionally raw film of the year by far. Same thing with All of Us Strangers.
Yep. All of
Such
Us,
an emotionally
All
raw
of Us
film.
Strangers could have easily been thrown in there for best editing. Also, could have easily been thrown in there for best actor. Also, I think that maybe a couple other categories. I'm not entirely sure, but for sure those three overall, I think absolutely deserved a nomination. Yeah, very, very good movie. Don't know why it didn't get any praise, but considering there were, I mean, I've seen, I think, over 80 movies that came out in 2023 now, and we could have picked a lot of them from the movies that got picked, but I think this requires a triple decker since we agree on any of the movies that we could have picked.
I know.
Okay, so before we wrap,
Mhm.
I do want to ask you one question. What is your, and I'm going to make you pick one,
Okay.
your biggest gripe of the Oscar nominations this year? Do you have a particular category, a particular movie that wasn't nominated? Do you have, what is your biggest gripe?
I mean, my biggest gripe is probably blah, 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 blah. I don't know, man. Maybe the fact that Anatomy of a Fall is not considered an international film.
Yeah.
I think, well, that's not my biggest gripe per se, but like it's a minor gripe.
It's certainly what I've heard you talk about the most.
Yeah, dude. What the? I get it. The way they do it is more than 50% of the movie in English.
Right.
So I understand that, but
it is not. It is not like
It
a
is-
right. It's absolutely an international film.
yeah. But besides that, I mean, I have like minor gripes on like certain nominations. Like, I don't think America Ferrera should have been nominated.
Yeah, fair.
I would have liked to see, like we said, All the Strangers nominated. I would have liked to have seen the Iron Claw get a little bit of recognition.
Do you
But
think that's gonna get brought up in the next Oscars?
the Iron Claw? No,
Yeah.
it was only eligible for this.
See, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't entirely sure.
But I don't know. Besides that, I don't know how many other major gripes I have. Listen, the Oscars are all about lobbying.
Yep.
You know, every movie has crew and staff members where their job is specifically to lobby for that film, just like any election.
Yeah.
So it's all political. It's all lobbying. It's all buddy. Never take the Oscars seriously or any award ceremony seriously. Like what you like, watch what you watch.
Absolutely.
You know, just watch everything.
Absolutely. That being said, the official recommendation from the nominations, easily from us, is absolutely Zone of Interest.
And also Anatomy of a Fall.
And also Anatomy of a Fall. The official recommendation, not from the nominations, is All of Us Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And also Iron Claw. But I haven't seen that, so I can't really talk about it. But those are our predictions for the Oscars.
Wow.
And I can't wait to see whether or not we actually fucked up super bad here in a couple of days.
Bro, I don't know. Oppenheimer's gonna win everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's gonna sweep, just like Dune 2 is gonna sweep next year. But
that's for next year's episode. Bro.
It's so good. All right, thank you. This has been Sip of Cinema. Go ahead and follow us, like us, comment,
For the love of God, please.
and send us a little smooch in the mail. And if you don't, that's okay. We still love you.
Yeah, we'll still send y'all smooches.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers to that.